Holy moly, there's a showdown happening on Earth. You feel it, I feel it, we see it, we perceive it, inside and outside. And all we can do is navigate in the way that we think is correct. Of course, there are many different realizations we're imbibing in during this showdown. One of them is the realization that language is a virus. And I know it's strange to say this because I'm using language to tell you language is a virus. Unless we recognize how language can entrap both the world and our approach towards the world, we won't be able to fully commune with the ineffable, the intangible, the magical qualities that always exist in and out of us. But when we override the undefined with the defined, we fall into language's trap. When we stop defining ourselves and everything outside of us, where actually do we exist? Do we really exist in those definitions? The treasure trove of mystery that we lock ourselves away from with our words cannot be comprehended, because the point of mystery is to maintain balance with the energy of revelation. Chaos needs to balance order. I'm saying all of this to make the point that just because something isn't comprehended with words doesn't mean it's not true. In fact, the greatest truth can't be conveyed. If it can be conveyed, then we're not expressing the fullness. Can you express the fullness of it all? I think the more we recognize that we can't express the fullness of it all, the more we detangle ourselves from existential writer's block. Language, in its quest to reveal truth, more often than not contaminates by trying to define our experiences, ourselves, others, what is true. By trying to define all of this, we confine what is real and actually perceived within the bounds of language. We dilute the richness of life. And this dilution acts inversely as well. Our language ends up diluting our experiences, and our experience through the lens of such language then dilutes our language. This is the unspoken mistake of language. It can only ever point to a sliver of the fullness of it all. And as truth seekers, as ascensional warriors, as spirit finders, we should always keep this in mind. While language seeks to paint a picture, it's also a cage. It can and does lead to experiential writer's block. I just invented that phrase. Do you like it? I like it. Experiential writer's block. Because of our definitions and concepts, we instruct reality to reveal only certain qualities. Therefore, if we ever find ourselves in a relationship with reality that feels limited or confining or just not our vibe, we may try to do away with our definitions and allow in space. I think a mistake a lot of people make, and I've made this mistake many times, is when reality feels confining, we look to define it further. We look to define ourselves within it further. The intangible is where the divine purely exists. And I think many humans forget this because through language we have defined the divine and we have tried to cage it into a certain category or man-made ideal. So when we allow space into a life that was previously full of analysis and definition, we find ourselves reverting to a more mystical mentality, where it's all about the intangible nuances that breathe life into life. Our quest for understanding and expression often leaves behind these intangible nuances. Okay, so now there's a challenge. The challenge then lies in balancing our innate desire to communicate, to define, with preserving the unspoken magic of each moment. And don't we want to preserve the unspoken magic of ourselves? Okay, then we probably want to get comfortable with existing beyond concepts. Everything is digitized in this information age, it seems. We are certainly in an age of definition. You know, everything has like a hashtag, everything has a tag, ideas are seemingly more and more grouped together, dualistic arguments seem to have increased. What side are you on? Where do you stand? Where exactly are you? Define it. Define it. That's what this world wants you to do, to define everything and everyone. I think we get too hung up on the language aspect of awakening and not enough on the actual experience of upward striving. We have become in many ways creatures who speak of healing, who speak of reality, rather than creatures who actually heal, who actually deal with the true reality. So, well, this is a good realization. The conflict seems to begin when we're talking about awakening or ascension or spiritual expansion. The conflict seems to begin in the impossible feat of accurately articulating profound spiritual truths. Nonverbal communication allows for a more encompassing grasp of truth. Most of us have experienced the following. We're enjoying a moment with a sunset or a beautiful city landscape or anything, and we just want to take it all in. We're just at peace, observing the intricacies and letting it all flow, and all of a sudden, some stranger or someone we're with has to open up their big fat mouth and place definition on a previously undefined moment by saying something like, "Wow, isn't that beautiful?" Or it might be, "Look at those birds over there." Or, "Look, there's a new hotel." Or, "Do you think that tree's name is a blah, blah, blah?" Most of us have experienced such moments in our lives. They're aggravating because we just wanted to commune. And now that certain values have been placed, certain definitions have been thrown at the moment, it's kind of tainted. This is what I'm saying. There's a certain type of communion, and in my opinion, it is the innate communion that we lose touch with, that we forget about when we entrap ourselves in the world of words. I find so many humans are just arguing about words, about definition. And there's so many arguments happening, like, what the hell? Well, is the problem the concept, or is the problem viewing everything in terms of concept? I aspire to exist beyond concepts, in a realm that isn't restricted by narrow interpretations of existence. And I think an antidote for an overly defined reality that crushes out the magic. Crushes out, what am I saying? Crushes, yeah, we're gonna crush the divine. We crush the divine with our words, and, well, it seems to me that too much sharing is one of the culprits for this condition. Too much sharing prevents the mystical experience from taking shape. We are very much called these days to share everything. You have a thought? Share it. You have an insight? Share it. Something made you laugh? Whether it's a video or a joke? Share it. It's no wonder why society has gone the way of this false interconnectedness. The oversharing of ourselves rigidly structures our experiences and disallows sacred communion from taking shape. So this nervous habit of sharing, of wanting to huddle together with definition, it actually prevents us from having our own personalized encounters with the divine, which usually come forth through dedicated discipline and allegiance to a certain lifestyle, and definitely ease seems to be a quality that must be adhered to have any divine experience. If we are anxious, if we are so lost in the sauce of reality and emotion and desire, we can't possibly make room for the divine. Likewise, if we're so caught up in our definitions of everything, we can't experience the undefined. So, in conclusion, while language seeks to encapsulate the vastness of experience, it also cages experience. So let us acknowledge this and get back our sense of awe, wonder, and magic. We deserve it.